grant to the Bermuda College. This funding is not just about launching new initiatives or programs. We are funding for outcomes, outcomes that directly improve the lives of our children and elevate the quality of education across our island. Our goal is to ensure that these investments yield tangible results, such as better learning environments, enhanced support for students with special needs, and improved access to educational resources. This is more than a one-off initiative. It marks the beginning of a longer-term strategy that ensures that these funds will be included in next year's budget as we continue to strengthen our programs and expand support for our children. While this funding addresses immediate needs, we are committed to evaluating its impact over the coming months and developing more sustainable, effective solutions to permanently address the challenges in our education system. Our children deserve nothing less than a system that continuously evolves to meet their needs. Our Child Development Program will receive $410,000 to address developmental assessments for children aged 2 through 5. Some of our most vulnerable children have waited for these critical assessments, and today we are ensuring that they get the attention they need. This is about eliminating delays and providing early interventions that will set these children on a path to success from the very start. We are providing $50,000 for specialized follow-up support for children identified with conditions like autism spectrum disorder. Our children deserve the best start in life, and we are committed to giving them just that. We're also committed to supporting students with severe and multiple learning disabilities. So Dame Marjorie Bean Hope Academy will receive $370,000 of additional funding. This funding will address urgent need for additional wraparound services such as occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech-language pathology. These services will give children the specialized care they need to communicate more effectively, improve motor skills, and achieve their educational goals. Every student at Dame deserves the highest level of care, and this funding ensures that they'll receive the wraparound services necessary to thrive. To support students with complex and challenging needs, we are investing $420,000 for hiring additional paraprofessionals. This ensures that children receive the one-on-one support they need to succeed in school, regardless of their learning difficulties. We're also allocating an additional $150,000 for psychoeducational assessments, addressing a critical gap in our current resources. By doing so, we ensure that children presenting with conditions such as autism spectrum disorder are properly assessed and supported. We cannot overstate the importance of literacy. This is why we are allocating funds to the Reading Clinic, ensuring that students with dyslexia and other learning difficulties, differences, have tools and the support they need. Additionally, our iPlay program will expand to give early literacy support at the preschool level, giving children the skills to access the full curriculum as they progress through school. Education is not just about the classroom. It is about providing students with opportunities to excel in all areas. We are adding an additional $50,000 to our scholarship and awards program to ensure more students can access higher education and pursue their dreams. We're also excited to introduce the Minister's Annual Debate Challenge. This program will receive $50,000 in funding. This initiative will develop critical thinking, communication, and research skills in students aged 11 through 14 and provide them with a platform to showcase those talents. As part of our ongoing commitment to education reform and to relieving families' financial pressures, we will be providing for students transitioning from parish primary and middle schools to senior schools. Recognizing that this change often requires parents to purchase entirely new uniforms, we will offer $100 vouchers to all families participating in senior school counseling sessions. This eases the burden on our parents while ensuring students have what they need to start their senior school year confidently. This initiative is not for this year. We are committed to making it an annual program as part of the broader education reform to ensure families receive this vital support as students progress through the school system. As Bermuda College celebrates its 50th anniversary, we are investing $700,000 in a capital grant to ensure the buildings are safe, functional, and conducive to student engagement. These improvements will enhance the learning environment, encourage more students to participate in campus life. The government of Bermuda reaffirms its unwavering commitment to education and, more importantly, our children. Through this additional funding, we are investing in early assessments, special needs education, literacy programs, scholarships, co-curricular activities, uniform vouchers, and improved facilities, all aimed at building a brighter future for Bermuda. Our children are our most precious resource, and this investment ensures that they will have the tools and support needed to reach their full potential. However, this is more than just a one-off investment. We are laying the groundwork for long-term support and sustainable programs that will continue to evolve to meet the needs of our students. As a fiscally responsible government, we recognize the importance of ensuring every dollar is well invested, and we will critically analyze these initiatives to ensure strong return on investment funds. Our education reform focus on creating a system that meets all the needs of all students, both now and in the future. And in line with some programs, will be decommissioned, not because they failed, but because they are no longer necessary to have been or have been superseded by new and more effective solutions. This strategic approach ensures that our resources are channeled into the most impactful initiatives, keeping Bermuda's education system aligned with modern challenges and opportunities. In conclusion, this is not just an investment in our education, it is an investment in Bermuda's future. Our children deserve nothing less than our full support, and we are putting them first with this funding. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the statement. I'll go ahead. Sarah's right here. Sarah Lagan, Royal Disaster.
Thanks for the update, Minister. We'll start with the uniforms. Do you know how many $100 are going to go out?
We do. It's about 140. I want to say it's around just around 150. I think it is.
About 100. And you said that the ones that are going into counseling services. Can you clarify what that is?
Prior to students entering into senior schools, there are sessions that take place with the counselors at their particular schools and the senior schools, and this is to better support them to decide on which is the appropriate signature school and to give a complete update on that. And so what we're doing is, we'll be issuing these vouchers as the parents come to these sessions.
Okay. And then you mentioned a considerable investment for Hope Academy.
Yes.
Can you go into what that investment will fund at the school?
I did speak to it. It'll mostly fund, first of all, I think it's important for me to say, did announce that we had mid-year budget review and there'd be additional fundings. All ministries were asked to look within to see where critical needs could be met that perhaps now that we are halfway through the year, we're finding these gaps. And so we reached out to the various entities to say, how can we assist? And the importance to me was helping our children, or the most vulnerable of our children. Answered and said that they need allied health services, that is occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech pathology, as well as some other things. And so this funding will be going to help supply those services. Okay,
you had mentioned in a recent interview with myself some issues with the building. Is any funding being put towards the building, or what? Can you clarify what is needed for the building itself?
Yes, what we've done is there has been a meeting that has taken place, and a list of outstanding items that have been submitted. The items are actually being addressed with the budget that's currently within the Department of Education. I do understand that there's some work that's happening now during the break. There are some other things that are probably a little bit more longer term, but they are committed. I've had a report to say, here are the things that we are definitely looking to address within this fiscal year, though.
Okay, great. And the innovation unit, have you made any decision whether to renew that contract going forward?
The contract with innovation unit is something that's included in our current budget. It's not included in this midterm review.
But so the last contract is now coming to an end. Has a decision been made whether whichever budget it comes out of to renew that contract?
Yes, we are discussing a renewal with innovation unit.
You are discussing a renewal?
Yes.
Okay. You'd mentioned investment in literacy and the reading clinic and extending the iPlay program. Do you know how much is invested in that? I don't think you gave a figure for it.
Approximately, and I do recognize it wasn't in here, it's around, I believe it's around $55,000. Again, I stress that we reached out to the reading clinic and said, how can we provide you with additional assistance? And we're supplying everything that they asked for. And so it's funds going to them, and other funds will be going to, as I said, the iPlay reading program. So it's expanded to all of our preschools.
And then finally, I think you spoke to a kind of increased investment in education going forward. Can you give any idea as to how much, whether there will be an increase in the next annual budget for education?
What I was speaking to is the funding that has been allocated to us during the midterm review will be also included in our budget. That's what we do know. We do not know how much more we will get based on what we had before, but this additional $1.55 million and the $700,000 that we've issued will be included in our budget next year. And so what we're looking at, some of these are short-term immediate fixes, but we are looking, when I said reevaluating program, that can be used to leverage programs one-offs.
Do you think there's a case to be made to the Ministry of Finance that there does need to be an increase in the overall budget for next year's education
ministry? I believe
ministry?
every ministry would say yes to that question.
Gary Skelton from the Marine
Okay. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning.
Just touching on a couple of things you said, talking about hiring 420,000 towards hiring more paraprofessionals.
Yes.
So how many are we expecting to see?
I believe that equates to 6 or 7. I'm not quite sure. Again, this was one of the, I stress that we reached out to the various departments to say, how can we assist? And this is what we have. I cannot say for sure if they got all of what they asked for, but they did get something because we did have to balance it out throughout. But for sure, we've seen just there. Recently, I've seen more persons been hired in those particular fields and assigned to schools already.
And you answered my colleague that Dame Marjorie Bean, Hope Academy, I was looking for more occupational therapy as well. And so the question is, do we have the bodies to fill these roles? Or are we going to have to be looking overseas to bring people in? Do we have people on Ireland? Because I know there's been some struggles with getting the number of teachers for some of the schools.
Well, thank you for raising that, Gary. Why we are providing this funding is so we can look in the private sector to fill those roles that cannot be filled. And when we say looking at long-term, what is a more sustainable operation is recruiting more persons for those particular fields. As you may know or may not know, Department of Health is the one that supplies us with those services, and they're stretched. And so we're recognizing when they're stretched, they may not necessarily be able to fill the roles as needed within the education system. So we're looking at what it looks like now to have some of those types of professionals actually within the Department of Education versus us getting them from the Department of Health.
Oh, I see. So actually stretching the mandate or capacity as such of the Education Ministry itself.
Sure.
Okay. And one of the things that is notable outside of the debate challenge that we see these young people here, there isn't a lot of enrichment within this for the high achieving students. It's mostly focused on those students who are have needs or need help, helping hand along the way. Is that a recognition that is where the biggest need is within the ministry? Are you quite satisfied that our enrichment within the Department of Education for the high achieving students is the level you want it to be?
I am satisfied that it's at the level it wants to be, as it can be. As you know, we're embarking on education reform, and as we continuously look at how we can improve what we already do provide, one of the things that has been highlighted is early year interventions and things that need to happen along those lines. That was one of the reasons why we reached out to CDP and said, what is it that you need? or what is it you need to enhance what it is that you're doing. We recognized, and that is coming from having conversations with parents and with the staff at Dame, that there are some services that could be enhanced. And so we said, well, let's go ahead and do that. As you talk about the high flyers, I do believe that we are providing for them. I know of students in this very institution we're standing that are high flyers, and they're being addressed very, very well. When you look at our system and you look at our dual enrollment program with Bermuda College, you cannot enter the dual enrollment program unless you have done extremely well in years 1 and 2 in senior school. That is a testament to the things that we have in place to ensure that high flyers do get those types of advantages that they need. We have students graduating from the Bermuda College before they graduate from a high school. That in itself is a testament of what we have in place for the high flyers.
And just a quick question, you just mentioned the number of dual enrollment students that are going from Cedar Bridge, Berkeley to Bermuda College. How many are doing that right now?
I actually don't have those numbers right now, but I do know that talking to the Bermuda College, we've seen an increase, not just through the dual enrollment program, but students taking advantage of the College Promise program. The College Promise program provides students that graduate from the Berkeley Institute or Cedar Bridge Academy with a 3.0 or higher, tuition free, that they can attend the Bermuda College tuition free. And so that is a system, and there's nothing they need to do. All they need to do is enroll in the Bermuda College. Once they review their transcripts and they have a 3.0, they never receive a bill. The bill is just sent to the Ministry of Education to pay their tuition for them. So those are the types of programs we have in place for our high flyers that I think are growing. As I mentioned, Bermuda College has made a notice that they're seeing more and more students take advantage of these opportunities.
I'm thinking my final question would just be to ask, with this investment and as in Dame Marjorie Hope Academy and those talking about early learning, what kind of targets do you have in terms of what do you want to achieve through this extra investment?
We want to achieve meeting our children where they are. One thing we do talk about when we talk about our education reform, we talk about an individualized learning path for our students. The ability for us to get to children between the ages of 0 and 5 and recognize any additional supports that they need at an earlier age bodes well for them for when they enter into the public school proper. And so this will certainly allow us to ensure that our students enter into the BPSS system well equipped, and the BPSS system will be well informed of whatever challenges they may need assistance with.
Thank you, Minister.
You're welcome.
And as before we close, we are live. And before we close, we're going to have the 10 and 12-year-olds who have joined, the 10 and 11-year-olds who have joined the Minister's Debate Challenge. And we'll just have Mr. Thompson just say a quick word. Yes, since we're live.
Good morning, everyone. What you're experiencing is the Minister's Debate Challenge. We had an opportunity to invite many of our public school children to engage in debate, and they had an opportunity to engage in a portion of their midterm break. And we have a collective of students behind us who are doing quite well in the preparation of the debate. The tournament is going to be held in March, and so we're getting started now. Here it is October, and many of these who are standing behind me are possibly going to be finalists in the debate, of which they will have an opportunity to travel to a debate experience abroad. And we're quite excited with what we see in front of us. And these students are to be commended for giving up time in their holiday, and they're doing extremely well. And I did say to some of them, perhaps one day you'll stand as the Minister of Education to answer some questions. And that's why we're getting you ready for your future now. So they're doing a really good job. And Bermuda, we're in good hands with students like this who are standing behind me.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And with that,
And thank you, and I want to thank you, Mr. Thompson, for reaching out. This debate competition came about from discussing for maybe 2 years now.
Yes.
Maybe 2 years. And soon as I was given the opportunity to have additional funding, I told him, it's on. Let's get moving, and we will make do with this. I am pleasantly surprised to get an email from Mr. Thompson saying more students registered than they had anticipated. And so discussion around accommodate those additional students, but we certainly do thank the parents for signing up, and we thank you students for just taking the chance and taking the plunge. Thank you.
With that, that concludes our press conference. Thank you, Minister.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Thank you, students.
You're welcome.